Hello, friends! Welcome to the first lesson of our theater history portion. Like the great Martin Luther King Jr. once said, we are not makers of history. We are made by history. In other words, in order to understand where we're going, we first must understand where we're coming from. With that in mind, I can't wait to travel with you through the fascinating history of theater. I got my bag, my compass, and I got my special goggles. I know what you're wondering. Why is he wearing those fabulous goggles? Well, my fellow thespians, because we are not traveling by plane today. Nah. Where's the fun in that? Get ready to travel back in time via time machine! Ha! First stop, ancient Greece. Let's go! In today's lesson, we'll explore the origins of Greek theater. We will first describe the festival of Dionysus. We will then describe some important elements that characterize Greek theater and list some of the ways in which they have influenced Western theater. Finally, we will list some of the most prominent playwrights and actors in Greek theater. Man, I hope I get to meet Zeus. I'm such a huge fan. Are you ready? Buckle up. Next destination, Athens. Woo-hoo! Welcome to 6th century BCE Athens. Currently, Greece is the powerhouse of Europe. They've already gifted the world with amazing inventions such as democracy, philosophy, and the Olympic Games. Today, we'll focus on another one of their marvelous creations, the theater. Here is where it all began, folks, the festival of Dionysus, one of Greece's most sacred and important religious rituals. In order to understand just how important this festival was, the first thing that you need to know is that the Greeks were incredibly devoted to their gods. They had over a dozen gods if you count the Titans. Zeus, god of thunder. Poseidon, god of the sea. Athena, goddess of wisdom and matron of the city of Athens. And the list goes on and on. For Dionysus, the god of fertility, fruit, and theater, the Greeks held a massive 3-day festival every year called the Festival of Dionysus. And think about it. What better way to honor the god of theater than to put on a bunch of plays? The festival was held in the city of Dionysia, on the slopes of modern-day Athens. This festival was a massive event, even for today's standards. Think as big as the Super Bowl or the Olympics. And people from all over Greece congregated in this spot to honor Dionysus with food, wine, live music, and plays. The main event of this festival was the play competition. In this competition, 3 of the most renowned playwrights of the day would produce a combination of 4 plays known as a tetralogy, which included 3 tragedies and 1 satyr. Satyrs were short plays performed between the acts of tragedies to mock the struggles of the tragedy's heroes. You may be thinking, man, 3 tragedies? All of this drama is going to kill the mood. But, believe it or not, Greeks actually preferred tragedies over comedies. They were reflective, intellectual people. They loved their dramas. The word drama actually comes from the Greek word dran, which means to perform, one of the many theater words that we owe to the Greeks. At the end of the 3rd day, a jury would decide the winner for Best Play and Best Actor. The winners would then have their names etched into the theater as a symbol of their success, a huge honor, similar to what Hollywood does with the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now that we have a sense of the background surrounding the Greek theater festival of Dionysus, let's describe some of the elements that characterize Greek theater and some of the ways in which they have influenced Western theater. Let's start with the physical place, the theatron. Theatron means a place of seeing in Greek, and it's where the word theater comes from, another word that we owe to the Greeks. The theatron still stands and is available to visit in Greece. Here are some of its characteristics. The theatron was built on the slopeside of a hill and was composed of 3 main parts. The audience, which seated about 17,000 members and is structured in a semicircle. The orchestra, which in Greek means dancing space. The orchestra was crafted in a circular shape and is where the chorus, a fundamental part of Greek theater, performed. The chorus was made up of 12 to 50 men, who moved in unison and presented the internal thoughts of the characters in the play. Remember last unit when we talked about the ensemble? Well, these guys were the original ensemble. The last part of the theatron is the skene, a large rectangular wall behind the stage. Actors would use this as a space to perform quick costume or mask changes, similar to the backstage area that we have today. Many times, the skene was also integrated as a part of the play, and was painted doors, palaces, or whatever setting the story called for. The Greeks also used props to indicate a character's social status, gender, or age, and also to emphasize symbolic moments in a play. For example, if a soldier was returning home from war, the play would have red silk drapes to signify the blood spilled in battle. Now, you might have seen these symbols before, right? Guess where we got them from? Correct! Greek theater! Masks are another huge legacy that we have from Greek theater. Masks served several important purposes in ancient Greek theater. Their exaggerated expressions helped define which characters actors were playing. They also allowed the same actor to play several roles, and because of their resonance, they helped amplify sound so that the 17,000 people congregated could hear what the actors were saying, like this. Echo! Echo! In tragedies, masks were more lifelike, realistic, and in satire plays, masks were ugly and grotesque. These masks were constructed of wood, linen, cork, and sometimes even real human hair. Now, bear with me because I'm going to get a little bit technical for a moment, but the next two elements will help you understand just how influential Greeks were to Western theater. The first element is what Aristotle, another very famous Greek, named the three unities of drama: unity of place, unity of time, and unity of action. So what does this mean? Almost all Greek plays take place in one place, during one day, 24 hours, and we follow one action plot line. They all follow that pattern. So why is this important? The reason why this is so important is because the Greeks were the first civilization that codified and created a formula to create plays. Pretty neat, right? Another huge element present in Greek theater is the Deus ex machina. Deus ex machina means God from the machine, and it's a plot device invented and heavily used in Greek theater. In many Greek plays, there is a moment when the hero encounters an obstacle that is so big it seems impossible to solve. And just in the moment when everything seems hopeless, suddenly an actor playing a god is brought to the stage from above using a crane to solve this dire situation with its divine powers, giving a resolution to the play. Sounds familiar, right? Well, that's because this use of miraculous intervention is still used in countless plays, musicals, TV series, and movies to this day. It shows you yet another way in which Greeks were deeply influential in the development of Western culture. Now that we have seen some important elements in Greek theater, let's list some of the most important Greek playwrights and actors. It is estimated that the Greeks wrote over 1,000 plays, from which only 32 still survive. The most prolific tragic playwrights of that time are Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides. The most famous comedic playwright is Aristophanes. Make sure to check out the PDF to learn more about them and their contributions. Another very important figure in Greek theater, and someone who changed history forever, is Thespis of Icaria. Thespis was a Greek poet born in the city of Icaria. According to historians, he is credited as being the first person ever to appear on stage playing a character instead of speaking as himself. In other words, he is the first known actor in Western theater. That is why we call actors thespians, in honor of Thespis. That's it for today's lesson, folks. Now you can see just how influential Greek theater has been on Western culture, from the symbols we use and where we perform, to the plot devices that we use. I'm going to see if I can get a selfie with Zeus. But before I do that, let's review what we learned today. Today we learned all about the origins of Greek theater, starting with the festival of Dionysus. We then described important elements and influences of Greek theater, such as the three unities of drama or the Deus ex machina. Finally, we listed some of the most prominent playwrights and actors of Greek theater. Make sure to check out the PDF and practice questions for more information about Greek theater. In our next trip, we're going to explore theater history from the Roman Empire to the Middle Ages. Until then, remember, in theater, like in life, the limit is your imagination. Hey.